Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Bob Pace, and here you found me to fight CPS and stop taking our children. Um, I'm on early. Normally I'm on at 7 o'clock, but tonight I came on at 4 o'clock. And there was another podcast going, so I want to make sure the other podcast was finished. So when I came on, it didn't interfere. Now, you found me on Facebook fighting CPS, and I like to really help you all with your case of CPS. I'm a family man, I'm not a lawyer, but I have 6 children, and I too was caught up in CPS. I've been married for 31 years, and um, I know what you're going through. I've been caught up in CPS, a bad case, a really bad case. Now, the reason why I'm on early today or early this afternoon is because tonight is Friday Night Lights. It's the high school football games, and my son has a game that he plays for the top team in the nation, and they got an important game against a school from Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, the Panthers there. So I'm going to go with him and cheer him on. That's why I'm cutting out a little bit early tonight. Now, what happened to my podcast? I was here. Oh, there I am. Somehow it's kind of windy. I'm about a mile from the beach. I'm in Southern California. I'm at Surf City, USA, and the wind has come up. It's sunny. It's not overcast, so it's cold in the shade and fine outside in the sun. Now, there's several ways you can interact with this podcast, and there's actually 4 ways that you can do so. And we've been having some trouble with the links with Facebook, so I'm glad that there's 2 links that are working and one for YouTube. And I'm glad you found me. I'm so glad you found me. Now, the first way to interact with this podcast is all you need to do is be in this room. It's as easy. You listen, take notes. You listen and take notes. Also, I'd like you to, down below, if you want to subscribe to my podcast, hit the subscribe button. And then if you want to be notified when I'm on, hit the notification button so that I'm available to help you with your case. I'm on twice a day, Monday through Sunday. And I'm typically on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time for an hour. Then at nighttime, 7 p.m. In the evening for 1 hour Pacific Standard Time. Today is an exception, and I let people know all week about this. And also, on Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock instead of my normal time at 10 because I'm with my family in church. It's Sunday is our church day, and I want to be with my family. So those are only 2 exceptions. So you find me twice a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 shows. And I've been doing this since March. And also, you can leave emojis. You can do like a thumbs up or a heart, or you can do a smiley face, or give me stars. I love to see stars. I love to see stars. Anyway, I see you in my room. And I assume that some of you are. And I'm going to go through how they interact with this podcast and then find out the direction you guys want to take. Now, let's say you got some questions and you want to ask me some questions about your CPS case, or you want to make comments. Now, the Child Protection Service is what I call CPS. It's the entity of social services that protects our children from neglect and abuse, and also helps out families in need with the help of food, clothing, shelter, education, medical, and work. And so they're supposed to help out families. And on top of that, if they need to break your family apart, which they most likely probably do, they'll take your children You want to make sure your first priority is your children, if they are taken from you, that they're placed with a family member or relative, even if they're not close. And you got to give them a list because they're going to go through them and screen them. But once they take your family apart, then what they got to do is they got to put it back together. It's called reunification. They're supposed to do reunification. The child protection system is supposed to do so. Now, all the counties in every state will have a CPS entity, and they all have different acronyms. Like in California, it's the Child Protection Service (CPS). In Arizona, it's Department of Children's Services. In Kentucky, it's the cabinet. So it varies from state to state, county to county. But when I say CPS, I mean anything that has to do with protecting our children or doing family reunification, so forth. Um, so when you want to text in a comment, and by the way, I'm broadcasting YouTube and I'm using the StreamYard application. The StreamYard application. So yeah, hi Natalie. Welcome to the show. And yep, hold on a second because I'm doing my how to interact with this podcast. So I'll be right with you. I'll be right with you.
The internet is retarded here.
Just listen, and I will be right with you. I wanted to. Okay. Now I sent you a message. You got it, so you did call. Well,
Yes.
the call in there. Um, somebody that we haven't heard is this person, um, Danielle. She's been missing action for quite a time. She's come back once, and that was all that I heard.
I have no idea. Maybe she cannot fix the computer.
No, she just is dealing with real life. Danielle's from
Right.
Georgia. I've asked Faye to join us from Kentucky, but she hasn't come in the room yet.
Oh, okay.
So I asked Faye to join us too. I just need to find Danielle's number. I don't know why it's not coming up so easy. Here, let me get my messages here. Maybe it's a message box. Okay.
Are you in West Hollywood too? Is it all for the dog?
Well, I'm all right. It's just I'm outside. I'm outside.
No, everywhere here is a dog. So this guy this morning, I guess his dog was just barking. So
Oh, okay. Okay, I've invited Natalie and Faye and Danielle. Natalie's here, and she's a single parent. She had two children that were taken from her through no fault of her own, and she's
I
been.
even have a son,
I'm
and they
sorry.
took him too, but my uncle has him.
Okay, how
And
many
my
children
daughter's
do
in
you have,
recovery.
Natalie? How many children do you have?
I have 3 children, so I have
I'm
two
sorry.
little
Yes,
girls
she has
one
three
now. They're
children,
teenagers,
and all three of
and
her.
I have a 8-year-old son now.
Right.
So
All
at
three
this
of
time,
Yeah, all
yeah,
three
they're
of your
little, my
children
two
have been
daughters.
taken through no fault of your own, and she's still trying to get them back. She's still trying to get them
We're
back.
trying to get the daughters back, so that way my son can know he has sisters.
Yes.
Because it's kind of
Yes.
weird to tell him
Yeah.
now and then he'd be like heartbroken.
Right. Well, let me go back to my first part of the show that I talk about how they interact. So we're talking about the second way of interacting with this podcast. This is where you're going to either text me a comment or a question about your CPS. Text me about a question or a comment about your CPS case, and I will gladly help you, and Natalie will try to help you too. When you do text in, it's very important that you show your name. Now, a lot of you may say, I got a name already on Facebook. Well, if that name is like Debbie, John, Bill, Kathy, Mary, that's fine. But a lot of the names are like uh, dancing hippos or psychedelic butterflies or gone with the wind or too much smoke. And so it's hard for me to address you with those kinds of names. So I prefer if you just put your first name, you don't need a last name, and put the name that I could call you, and then follow with your city or county. City or county. And if you don't want to do the city, it's fine. I just need to see the county. I'm trying to get a general reference of where all the CPS cases are in the United States. And after you put your city or county, then put the state. It's very important to see the state. And also, if you're from another country, you're more than welcome to be in this room and to interact about your CPS case.
Yes.
And so far, I've had a lot of interest from countries. I have about 14 countries now. I've had the country of Bangladesh, then the country of India, and then I've had the continent of Africa, where it's been Liberia in the northwest along the coast, South Africa on the west coast province, um, on the west coast, and in the middle east is Rwanda. It's a small country. It's not very big.
Rwanda.
Yeah, it's the size of your
Like
thumb,
that part of
and
Congo.
it's all by itself. And they went through a terrible thing in
91.
1994. What had happened there? They had
94.
civil riots, civil unrest, and the civil war broke out, and over 1 million people were
Right.
slaughtered and killed and mutilated, and 500,000 females were raped. It was a terrible tragedy. And this did not happen too long ago. This didn't happen too long ago. But they've
No, it
texted
did, and
messages.
they also did a movie on it,
Yeah,
and they got an Oscar on it.
right. They've texted.
But the Rwanda civil war.
Right. So
I think George Clooney was in it. I'm not sure. I think so.
so they have texted messages, and then on top of that, um, I have a country called Mozambique, and that's north of South Africa, south of Somalia on the east coast, opposite Madagascar. So those are the countries in Africa. Now I did get a country from the Middle East, but it was in Arabic, and I don't speak Arabic, so I couldn't figure out what country the person was from. But I have heard from the Middle East. And then we go up to Europe and have had from England, Scotland, Wales.
It could be like somewhere in Israel too. They take kids in Israel, but maybe this
Yeah,
guy
I
was
don't think
telling
it
me
was there. It was
they only
Arabic.
write
I
in
certainly know
Arabic.
how to recognize when the Israel speak in Hebrew. So um,
You're right.
I don't know what country it was, but it was an Arab country. Then we're in Europe, and we have England, Scotland, Wales, part of the UK, and then we've had Denmark and Sweden. Then we go across the pond to North America, and we've had Canada. We have British Columbia and
Canada.
several of the provinces there,
You even had
Vancouver on the
Australia.
west coast. I'm sorry, what?
You even had Australia call in once. Or
Well, I'm not there in Australia. I'm still in Canada. I'm going around the world. You're jumping the gun, Natalie. You've heard my spiel too much. And and also I got to meet the First Nation people. That's what the Canadians call their Indians, First Nation. And it was a tribe in British Columbia. And that was interesting about how that was handling their case. And then we drop in down to the U.S., and I've heard from all 50 states, including the Washington, D.C. I even heard from the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota, the Lakota Sioux, and the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma, as well as the Osage. So I've heard from Indian tribes, I've heard from social workers, and there's been three of them. I'm yet to hear from policemen. I'd love to have a policeman call in and see how he works with CPS and what he does. So it's a small world there, but I've even heard from Washington D.C. Then if you go south of the border, Mexico, I heard from a gentleman looking for his girls, Louisiana. He called in from Mexico City. Then in South America, further south, we have uh, Guyana, which is on the east coast of South America, east of Venezuela, north of Brazil. And they had a CPS case there too. And then switching gears across the Pacific, I have Australia. I've had several states in Australia. Um, I've had the Gold Coast area on the west coast of Australia, then Melbourne at the state of Victoria. And it was interesting to hear from Australians because they too have a problem with CPS.
yeah, they do. I have a friend out in Australia. They're on a music app, and she said, yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
They have a CPS problem out there.
Yep.
And
Yep.
her mom was a social worker too. So, but I think it was for AIDS, not CPS.
So that's the 14 so countries that have in there, and I've talked to over 500 people in every state. So I welcome you all when you have a CPS question or a comment you want to make. Now, it's very important you're complete with your case, so try to tell me a little bit about your family, how your family's structured. Are you a husband, wife? Are you boyfriend, girlfriend? Are you lovers? Are you a partnership? And then are both parents involved with the case, or is this a single parent only and the father not involved? Also, are the kids' parents the same? Are they different fathers, different mothers? And then I'd like to know the names, the number of children, the sex of the children and the age of children. And then we go to what the allegations are. You can tell me a little bit of detail of your allegations. And then how were your children taken into custody? Did they come by? Did you just give it to them? Did you drive them down? Did they have a warrant? How did they gain custody? And then where are you at in your case? So if you do that at the beginning of the show, save a lot of playing ping pong ball because it goes back and forth and back and forth. And so it's important that you be complete with your case. So that is right there the second way. Now, the third way to interact with this podcast is to be a guest on our podcast. Now, to be a guest on our podcast, you would contact my show producer. Her name is Grace, and she helps me making sure my show runs good and helps me with the guests coming aboard. I have one guest just a couple days ago. but I can take up to 9 guests, including myself. As 10 people I can have on the podcast. And if you want to be a guest, all you need to do is write an email, and in the email say what days you want to be my guest. There are 14 shows to choose from. You can be on, like Sunday morning, or Wednesday night, or Friday night, or Saturday morning. You just name her one of the shows, and then she will get you on that show. She'll give you the link. Don't lose the link, because if you get knocked off, you can get back on. The link is still good in your email. So she'll give you the link, and then she'll tell you about how to be a guest on the podcast. Some of the things she'll talk to you about is there's no food or smoking during the podcast. No eating food or smoking during the podcast. Um, Also, we do not use the names of judges, social workers, or children on the podcast when you're talking to them. So it's just easy. You're going to send the email. The email address is grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And I put a thing up on the screen where it runs the tick at the bottom of the screen, the whole show. So you just email grace@vincentwdavis.com, and she'll put you on one of my 14 shows. And I'd love to have you. I had a nice one the other day from West Virginia, a girl who had a really bad case where her husband was taken to the cleaners. And it's sad because some people can be taking advantage of that. So that is right now the third way. Now the fourth way to be on our guest here is to call in. I'm going to put my number up. My phone number is 626-698-0990. And that is my office phone. It's a direct line to my phone. I will answer it if it's during showtime hours. But if you call before my showtime hours or after my showtime hours, I can't answer the call. So it's important that you call me during the showtime hours. So now I've shown you the 4 ways to be on my podcast. And now, Natalie, you can ask your questions. So what brings you to the show tonight? What did you want to talk about?
I just want to know about like when can they still, if you don't have parental rights, can you still get guardianship, or you just have to have parental rights?
Well, to get guardianship is different. To get
Okay.
guardianship or custodian is, is this for a child that's over the age of 18 or a child under the age of 18?
Under 18.
Well, yeah, you don't want to lose your parental rights if they're still under the age of 18, because
Yeah.
you'll need those rights spelled out again. Now, do you still have both my? I'm trying to picture.
But some people, they get guardianship and they are not parents. I found this
That is
paper
custodian
and the woman
parents.
wasn't
Custodian.
guardian.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're called
She's a
custodian.
guardian, but she's related to the child, but she's not a parent. I think she
Yeah.
was like a
Well, if it's
godmother
over
or
the
something.
18, it's called guardianship.
Well, no, it'd be probably like conservatorship if they were over 18, right?
Well, if they're over 18, you can get special. Um, you can be a special. Um, oh boy, guardianship. But
Right.
if they're under the 18, it's not called guardianship. They're still. Um, well,
Well, if it's under 18, they can have guardianship? But if it's over 18, if they can have guardianship, but
No,
also conservatorship,
a parent can adopt a
like
child under the age of 18 and have
what?
guardianship. You know, they can do that. It's just harder
No.
because you need to be a part of the foster care system. You see, child protection
Yeah.
system has made foster care streamlined, meaning that they don't have to go
Right.
through a lot of hoops and hurdles. It can take almost a year to get a child adopted. And what they're supposed to do
Yeah.
is bond the child really quickly. And
Well, the thing is with the adoption and the guardianship is a different thing because with the guardianship, you actually have your rights. So that's what it is.
okay,
But with the adoption, you don't have your rights anymore. They terminate your rights,
yeah, they
which is
terminate your
unconstitutional. Which
educational
is
and medical
unconstitutional
rights.
because you should, if you want your child adopted, that's your civil right, and you can actually, this is what you could do. You could actually fill out a paper and relinquish your rights.
Hey, did I tell you something? Um,
Yes.
in
What?
Kentucky, when they adopt your children, the Kentucky CPS, the cabinet, will allow you one last visit with your child to tell them goodbye. Now that to me is heartbreaking. I cannot believe they
That
allow
is
that such a
heartbreaking.
thing. They don't do that in California, but in Kentucky, Faye told me that they do that where they bring the child in, um, say goodbye to the parents. It's really sad.
Well, remember the last visit I had with my daughters, and it was sad. We we bought them a lot of gifts and cake and ice cream and all that, and I told them, you can't see me now, but you'll see me later. So, and I actually gave a list of numbers that our phone numbers so they can call. But you know,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Now,
but this is that's very heartbreaking. That's kind of like a forced visit, from my understanding, in Kentucky. That you're mandated to do it, or what? I don't know.
you're they have a 1 day farewell where you say goodbye to your child. You can't be emotional, you can't cry or anything. And poor Faye had to do that with her daughter. She had to go through that emotion, and I think it's wrong.
It is wrong.
That's
That's very wrong because
intimidation.
that's not right for the child
That's
either. The child
intimidation.
can't figure is what the
That's,
child will be like upset anyhow, and also the mom, of course, but
that's
you know,
intimidation. That is intimidation.
it's intimidation and it's also like basically saying like I don't know, it's a word of like how it's kind of like you are forced to just give up. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird situation where you're forced to. I had my monitor on my last visit because my other monitor he quit. So because they kept lying about him. Oh, that's what is this? They just keep doing it. So then after the visit, the last visit, they're always hard because the kids, they finally, my kids finally, my daughters, they finally realized this was not right. So,
So, how would you like to see the show go today? Would you like me to talk about my core digest stories, my CPS stories, or do you want me to talk about the topics I have open? I have 50 tabs are open, or talk about social workers, or talk about my case. What would you like me to do?
Well, let's talk about the social workers, how they, because people really need to know that that's the first step. And then we can talk about your case in relation to the social worker. I think
Well,
that would be
yeah,
best.
we can talk. We haven't talked about that lately. Social workers in the states are different.
Right.
Most of the social workers have no training. There's only been 3 social workers that have come to my show that said they had training. In California, they're not required to have a license. They're not required to have a college degree in social work. I think, as a minimum, they should have a college degree in social work and maybe have a minor in clinical psychiatry because they want to diagnose the parents of children and give them drugs. And you have to be a legal person to do that. You cannot be a person that is
Well, they try to prescribe that. They not prescribe. What the social worker always tries to make you mentally unfit. So then they also write in their reports that you should have medication. Well, they don't have the right to do that because they're not a psychiatrist.
yes, that's true. So these social workers, and I'll give you my favorite ones, which are the pink ladies from Prescott, Arizona. There was 8 of them, and they had over 25 years experience. And in 2022 in Prescott, Arizona, the Department of Children's Service Social Workers, DCS, decided to buy these pink t-shirts. And on the front they had it stenciled that they're professional child kidnappers. And when they walked by you on the back of the shirt, they said, "Do you know where your child is at?" Now, that is a very rude comment and a very emotional one. Um,
It's rude and it's also um I think it's like very like it's like upfront. It's like in your face. Like this is who I am. I am legally a criminal, but I can still keep going in public.
yes,
That's what it looks like.
yes, yes, yes. And
Like if you
so,
look at the system, how it is, it's like she could, like some guy like Jeffrey Dahmer could kidnap 2 kids and do whatever like
right.
awful things, but she could use the court system, the pink lady, and just
Well,
actually put
these eight
them in that
social
kind of
workers,
danger.
these 8 social workers parade around in Target, Walmart, Costco, Kmart, Sears, um, and Best Buys, and it really disturbed the parents in Prescott. They got the social workers fired along with the director. Now,
That's good.
the Prescott um, Department of Children's Services without anybody watching the kids. There was only one social worker left. It was a male, but all the females were gone and the director was gone. So you can imagine what havoc could be if they're all gone. What they need to
Well,
do.
if the females were outside parading that, then yes, they were the females, the female social workers, lady social workers, because they were the pink ladies. But the male was probably in the office.
No,
He would have gone in the group, right?
the male wasn't involved. There was only one
Right,
person left. There's
right.
8 so there's only 9 social workers in Prescott, Arizona, and a director. Well, the director and those 8 social workers that prayed around were fired. That was wrong. That's wrong to parents.
Oh yeah, it is wrong because they don't have any sense. This is how sick their mentality is.
Well, it sends out the
You
wrong
think it
kind of
it,
message.
it sends us a message where okay, we have the right to do this, and you have, and we'll keep doing it. It's just like a pedophile in a different step, you know. But I'm not calling them pedophiles. I'm just saying
Yeah, yeah.
you don't have to be arrested to be a pedophile. It's just a behavior. But anyway, their behavior is disturbing. That's all.
Yes, yes. They are. And now my social worker, I had a social worker that was really awful too. and she had no college degree, no social work in there. She didn't have a high school degree, and she had no license. Now, I think all social workers, see, in Richmond, Kentucky, they're required to have a license. Now, a license is good because it keeps the people going back for refresh courses every couple years. Um, and I don't know. Um,
Wait, they have licensing for the foster parents.
no, no, no.
No.
I'm talking to that social workers who
Oh, right.
they should have a license because the license should be renewable. And, these social workers are corrupt. And also,
Well, I
um,
give you an example. Like they don't like need a degree either. They don't need a degree in anything, or they don't. They just get little training, and some of them don't even have high school diploma. So they just get trained for like I don't know, let's say 6 to 8 weeks or whatever their training is in California, and then they get a job, and they barely can write.
okay.
If you read those reports, it looks like somebody just keeps refurbishing them, that's correcting them, but it's not correct. It's like grammatically incorrect.
Okay. Hey, Faye's joined us. Welcome,
Hi,
Faye.
Faye.
She says, hello, everybody. I hope you're having a safe and a blessed night. Now, Faye is from Richmond, Kentucky, and I'm going to put her message up there so everybody sees it. And then she disagrees with you, Natalie, on something. There's something you said that Faye doesn't agree on.
I'm
Um,
sorry.
no, it's okay. We can all disagree. I disagree with Faye all the time,
I
but
respect.
I
I
don't know what
respect
she's disagreeing
Faye.
with you on.
Well, it must have been like the behavior of the social
Well,
worker,
she
or
would
is it
she
the
will tell you.
grammatics, or is it the pedophilia? A
Okay.
lot of them are pedophiles.
Oh, I think the word of using the pedophile. We shouldn't use the word pedophile.
Oh, we should use pedophile.
Yeah,
Okay,
we shouldn't there.
I'm sorry.
They copy and
Okay.
paste. Um, and I'm
That's right. They copy and paste.
right, right. They copy and paste
So
all the
they copy
time.
and paste, and they have a script running on everybody. So it's
Yeah,
they don't have concrete evidence that for example when I was mentally upset they had to keep copying and pasting. They
right.
had to make up all these lies about me. Basically what it came down to is they had really like nothing like I mean
Hey,
they
Faye.
don't have a criminal record.
Natalie
They don't
wanted to
have a
talk
drug
about
record.
social workers. Faye, what would you like to talk about? Faye, what topic? We talked about judges this morning. We talked about three judges. Two of them were killed,
I can talk about my judge.
and
What judge was killed? What?
well, we had a judge in Kentucky that was killed yesterday. The sheriff was arguing with the judge because the judge slept with his teenage daughter, his underage daughter. So the sheriff
So the
killed the
police
judge.
shot and killed the
Judge.
judge. Was it a man or a woman?
It's a man judge.
Oh, it was a man. Okay.
There's a man sheriff, a man judge. He went into the chambers and shot the judge dead because he's sleeping with his daughter, who's underage.
Now, how
Now,
did he get in the courthouse with the gun?
I don't
That's
know.
my
And then
question.
another judge got 20 years in prison. We're talking about that judge and how he got put
Okay, what
on
happened with
trial
him?
and everything. And that was in Kentucky. And then there's another
What did he
judge that was up in Maryland that was killed on his driveway, and they caught the suspect in the woods, and he was dead. He was dead. So the suspect they 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 caught. We live in a very violent world. Everybody can get a gun.
We
Doesn't
have a
matter.
violent world. Anybody can get a gun, and anybody can kidnap your child. They're so legally or illegally. But it's interesting about the guns and like how the Brady law is. Like, you have to have I guess I don't know. I think it's like more than 2 week wait, but somehow these people are managing to get the guns illegally, or whether they had them previously in their possession. It's quite frightening Some of them they don't.
Yeah.
They have to have them registered. So we're seeing this. If anybody doesn't know about Brady, he was the secretary for Ronald Reagan's president in the 80s, and he got shot and paralyzed because he took bullets for
Faye in California, they are not policemen. They're sheriffs. They're in the courtrooms. They're the bailiff. They're the ones that keep order. Now in Kentucky, I guess sheriffs don't work in the courtrooms. I guess it's policemen. So I think Faye was trying to tell about what to do in Kentucky. She says they're police officers that work the courtrooms. In California, they're sheriffs because it's a county. It's Orange County. So anything that's in Orange County or LA County, anything in the county and state of California is run by sheriffs. But in Kentucky, well, in California, the bailiffs are sheriffs. They're the ones that keep order in the courtroom. They're the ones that bring the document to the judge. They're the ones that will talk to the judge directly. Now, she's talking about how they do things in court differently. Now, in dependency court here, in my dependency court, the person that kept law and order in the room was a sheriff, and he's the one that can tell people to leave.
Sheriff is funny. Yeah, the sheriff was like kind of weird against me and my brother, but then she kept picking on my brother.
Right.
For some reason.
Well, yeah, everybody law enforcement you can call cops. Sure, Faye. That's a common name. Call cops, policemen, sheriffs. But what I'm trying to emphasize that in the counties, it's usually typically the sheriff's responsibility to keep law and order in the courtroom, and they are the bailiffs. They're the ones that keep law and order. And a sheriff is a cop. I agree with you, but I'm trying to say there isn't like the Richmond police work in the courtroom. I would think it's the county. What's that? Campbell County? That'd be the sheriff from Campbell County.
Right.
Yes, I know they're law enforcement. I think the terminology, Faye and I are not. I'm just saying, when you talk in California,
we're trying to distinguish like this focus in each state. They have like the way they have it. Like for her state, they have like in her county the police monitor the courts, but here in LA County we have the sheriff, like Bob said, which is true. But I don't know in other parts of California who monitors.
Well, I know that all the counties, whether it's San Bernardino, Orange County, LA County, it's run by the sheriff's department. And the person that runs in that office is called a bailiff, is a legal officer who has authority and jurisdiction over a variety of matters, including courtroom security, debt collection, and estate management. Their courtroom security is the bailiff's responsible for maintaining order and safety in the courtroom and removing disruptive people. They also escort people in or out of the courtroom and may handle evidence and court documents with the judge. Debt collection, bailiffs can collect the debts on behalf of the creditors by asking for immediate payment or by selling the debtor's goods at an auction. So it's just, they are cops, they are law enforcement. I'm just talking that here they wear a different uniform. You don't really see the LA Police Department in a dependency courtroom, or you don't see the City of Orange. You see, most of the police are done by cities. The difference between sheriffs and cities is jurisdiction. A sheriff has a large area. It's usually the inner corporate areas of the county, ones that don't have cities. And the ones that have cities will have the police unless they want to hire the sheriffs.
Well, the thing is that the court has to pay the sheriff.
Say that again, Natalie?
The state. So it's not, I'm saying the state or the county has to pay the sheriff to be in the court because they're not going to show up for free.
Well, no. The sheriffs are in the court. Okay, the counties there are many places in Southern California where it's unincorporated. I mean, there's no city.
Right.
Like the city of Lakewood does have a city hall, but it doesn't have a city police department. The city of Lakewood hires
Right.
the LA County sheriffs to keep law
Yeah,
and order.
like here in West Hollywood, they hire the sheriff because there
Right.
is no police
And then the
department.
courtrooms,
So they
the
extended their
courtrooms,
contract
the
here with
courtrooms
sheriff.
are county courtrooms in California. They're not city courtrooms, and it's not
Right.
there are county courtrooms. And in the county courtroom, a sheriff who is the bailiff will keep law and order in there, hand the documents to the judge, and escort people to and from the courtroom. And that's what they try to do.
Well, the thing is with
Oh
that
no,
too,
no.
is the
These wear
sheriff.
a sheriff police. They wear in California. They wear a sheriff's uniform. It's got all their attachments. So if you look at an LA police man and a LA County sheriff, they look totally different. The
It's different.
uniforms are different. Like the LA police department is black and white, and the sheriffs are olive green and brown. And
Right. That's their uniform.
right, yeah. And then we have our state police, the state troopers, which look totally different too, the highway patrol. But in California, the courtrooms are run by the counties, and they are the ones in charge. They're the ones in the charge. And I guarantee that they protect the judge. But when you have a sheriff, like the sheriff in Kentucky, decided to kill that judge because the judge
Well,
raped his
okay.
daughter, that got out of hand. So there's nothing protecting.
He said he raped the daughter, or they're having an affair.
Well, okay. Okay, Faye's the one that brought this up. I thought she told me
I know.
here. I don't. Hold on a
Because it
second.
looked
Let me
like
go.
he had an affair with the daughter, and
Okay.
or because then that's why he killed him, because he doesn't want him having an affair.
Well, it's not that. It's just. It is called corruption. You don't have sex with a minor. And if you're a law
Right, but he was
enforcement
having like an
person, on
affair
a
with her.
judge, you're supposed to be honorable. You're not supposed to be a corrupt
Right.
judges. But there are corrupt
But
judges.
this
There
is a
are
sex
corrupt
maniac or
judges.
whatever he is. He wanted to have an affair with her, and then that's why the police, the sheriff's dad, he killed him because he got upset because he must have he had to have known about this,
They're
and then
they're
I guess they were in adoption together. So I don't know. There must have been something strange like that.
okay. What
I
had
don't know. They
happened
have to
was
explain it. I'm trying to
I'm trying to
understand.
find out the details of the case so I
Right.
don't misquote. And Faye brought this up perfectly, and she had it handled two
Right.
days ago. It's just that right now we sit here back and forth about the terminology here. In Frankfort, Kentucky, a judge in a rural Kentucky county was fatally shot in the courtroom chambers this last Thursday, yesterday, and the local sheriff was
Wow.
charged with murder in the killing, the police said. The preliminary investigation indicates that Letcher County Sheriff Sean McSteins shot District Judge Kevin Mullins multiple times following an argument inside the courthouse. According to Kentucky State Police, see, they have their city police and their state police and the sheriff. Mullin, who held the
Okay.
judgeship for 15 years, died at the scene. Steins surrendered without incident. So the sheriff surrendered. Okay. Um,
Okay.
oh God. Hold on a second. The fatal shooting in Whitesburg sent shockwaves through a tight near Appalachian town and county seat of government with about 1,700 residents located about 145 miles southeast of Lexington. The lead county prosecutor, Matt Butler, described an outpouring of sympathy as he rescued himself in his office from um,
So she was
from
in
invest.
Appalachia's
Can I
Virginia
finish this,
judge.
Natalie? Instead, let me finish
Okay, I
it.
can understand.
We can do
I
this.
can't hear. Sorry.
Oh, you can't hear me? Here, let me. You can hear me
Yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah. Now I can
Okay.
hear you.
Are about 145 miles south of Lexington. The lead county prosecutor, Matt Butley, described an outpouring of sympathy as he rescued himself in his office for an investigation of the shooting, citing social family ties to Mullen. We know each other here. Anyone from Letcher County can tell you that Judge Mullins and I married sisters, that we have children who are first cousins, but act like siblings, Butler said in a statement from his office. For that reason, among others, I've already taken steps to recuse myself and my entire office from the case. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman said his office will collaborate with a Commonwealth attorney in the region as special prosecutors in the criminal case. We'll fully investigate and pursue justice, Coleman said in a social media. Kentucky Supreme Court Chief Justice Lawrence Van Meter said he was shocked by this act of violence, that the court system was shaken by this news. Letcher County Judge executive signed an order closing on Friday the county courthouse where the shooting took place. So today they closed the courthouse. They closed the
Oh,
house.
you have to investigate.
Yeah, where the
That's
shooting
why.
took place. Mullins, who's the judge, 54, was hit multiple times in the shooting. Now, the Kentucky State Police said that Steins, 43, who was the sheriff, was charged with one count of first-degree murder. The investigations continued, the police said. It is unclear whether Steins had an attorney. Kentucky State Police referred inquiries about Stein's legal representation Thursday to a spokesman who did not immediately respond by email. Responding to the shooting, Governor Andy Beshear, that's the governor of Kentucky, said in a special media post, there is far too much violence in this world, and I pray there's a path to a better tomorrow. Well, Governor, besides talking about it, what are you going to do about it? Beshear, your state of Kentucky is very corrupt. Mullins served as district judge in Letcher County since he was appointed by former Governor Steve Beshear in 2009 and elected the following year. Mullins was known for promoting substance abuse treatment for people involved in the justice system and helped hundreds of residents enter inpatient resident treatment, according to a program for drug summit he spoke at 2022. Mullins helped create a program offering courthouse peer support for additional treatment and worked with various healthcare organizations. After the shooting, several area schools were briefly placed on lockdown. Now, I'm still can't find out the reason. Now, I think somehow Faye found the reason somewhere.
I
Oh
don't know
my!
where she found it, but it looks like they're all connected somehow. Like they're related from the article. They're like related through family, like first cousins.
Now they're after Robert Kennedy Jr. He first killed a bear and hid it. Now they're investigating him for collecting a dead whale. Oh my God! This world is getting crazy.
How, wait, how does he kill a bear and a whale at the same time?
They didn't say at the same time. They said now they're. I
This
just
is
said this
incredible. He
news
kills a
is so
bear.
terrible.
It's terrible. How do you kill a whale? It's impossible. That thing is so big, and a bear can eat you, when a whale can eat some charge at you. How does this work? Is this for real?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out. Um,
So Bobby Kennedy Jr. has killed a whale and a bear.
yes. Now he's been accused. I didn't say he did.
Okay. I'm just making sure.
still says they're trying to, and I hate this when they don't let you read it now. You have to subscribe to
Yeah.
news reporters. I hate that all the time. The Washington Post, you can't read what the Washington Post is. CNN. Let's see if CNN where they came up with what they did there. It said in Kentucky, sheriffs responsible for security at the courthouse,
Okay.
including the person. They're just like California.
Yeah. So this sheriff probably was on duty in that
Yeah.
courthouse,
They have
and then
120
he
sheriffs
decided
that
to
work
shoot
on a
him
daily
and kill him.
basis with the judges. Oh, God. Now CNN's doing the same thing as the Washington Post is doing. Now, here's the sheriff is faced with a lawsuit before the shooting. Steins was deposed of earlier this week in an ongoing federal lawsuit involving a former deputy who coerced a woman for having sex with him in Mullins' chamber. So the sheriff had sex.
Oh, I see.
Wait a
So
second.
the sheriff had sex with this
Sabrina
woman.
Atkinson's and Jennifer Hill filed suit against Steins and Deputy Ben Fields in 2022, claiming the deputy said he would keep Atkins out of jail on a home release while avoiding paying the fees associated with the ankle monitoring in exchange for sex. This is really getting more and more bizarre. Atkins alleged the deputy met her after dark in the chambers of Judge Mullins, telling Sabrina that he wanted to meet her there because there were no cameras. The lawsuit says Field was accused of meeting with Atkins at the courthouse during evening or early morning hours, roughly a half a dozen times, including for sex. That was in Mullins' chamber over a 7-month period. Hill, the second plaintiff, accused Field of falsely claiming she was not meeting the terms at her home confinement after she refused to do a favor for him, which she interpreted as request for sex. The lawsuit says that Hill was later arrested. Fields harassed her at home and explicitly demanded oral sex and later sexual intercourse in the sheriff's office vehicle in exchange for staying out of jail. Fields was charged with multiple felony and a misdemeanor, including rape and tampering with a modern device, and was given a substantial suspended jail sentence as part of a plea deal earlier. Um, Anyway, I don't know what's going on.
It seems that the police found this woman and to arrest,
Well, I don't know.
and
Faye's the
I
one
guess
that came up with the judge's daughter being raped by the sheriff.
well, what if it? I think that's what it is. Is the judge's? I thought it was the sheriff's daughter was being raped.
Well, I thought so too. When I first heard about this, Faye said on the show that the sheriff and the judge were in argument over the fact that he had sex with his daughter. Now, I don't know if his daughter was underage or overage or whether the daughter was consensual sex or not. But all I know is the sheriff has another problem with the female, I guess, a person that has been found guilty, and he's trying to coerce her to have sex in the judging chamber. Anyway, it's crazy. It is so crazy. Now, I've gone an hour, and my time is up. And for somebody that listens, we'll find out more about what happened in Kentucky. Thank you all. God bless you all. And this is Bob
Thank you
Pace
all.
signing off. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Natalie. And we'll talk again tomorrow at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Good night, and God bless you. And don't